That's Marcus. That's Mike.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that. Be flexible, gotta be flexible. Flexible to transition from wheelchair. Not that I need a chair, I can stand. I know you can stand.
That's not Marcus. Huh? Oh, that's Forrest. That's Forrest. Right? That was the mark, the one he used. Yeah.
With the thing on money, you had to offer it. We had a.
Yeah, that's Forrest.
All right, we'll double up this here. See Scott running back to the basket. Not trying to be facetious. What's the first of that all time? God would probably accept the first with or without all. I think you can, and the folks in the back here will be fine.
People in Pueblo. I've been in churches before where they count the money and it's not enough, they take money. We won't do that. Father, thank you. Get multiple chances. This your grandparents. taking the majority to let me just have an opportunity to speak economics to be able to share with you. A little bit of my background. I did not grow up in a Christian family at all. Basically, secular. Church was an option, but the kids went to and the parents stayed home. They didn't do it all. As a young person, I decided myself an atheist. Anything about it. And I sat behind the guy one day that slept through the entire service and walked out and told the pastor what it was in my life. I felt like tripping with that. Really, I said, man, right. No idea. I don't know. So Father's Day was falling off a hard time. One of my good friends, actually living in the church, another good friend of ours in Wisconsin. She was a beautiful, beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. My father said, how are you even here? Things that she had a very negative personal view of herself. Anybody ever knew. It's like she couldn't look on me. Again at 30 days. From 35 to 90 something, she was a single mother. In the scriptures, in Genesis chapter 12, when we look at this in Sunday school today, we're going to be introduced to an father of the Savior. And we're going to see in the life of Abraham that from full adulthood into almost time that he died, he was in a process of learning about God. And the things that he went through models and lessons for us as fathers. And we want our children to be able to take certain things that probably would be best for us. This man, Abraham, 75 years old, when he left a country called actually Ur the Chaldees. Hebrews chapter 11, don't worry about 12. I'm just going to read 11. You're okay. Terah took Abram his son, and I'm going to call him Abraham this time, okay? Because I don't get confused with Abraham. But I'm going to call him Abraham. He took Abraham his son, and Lot, and son of Haran, and in the city of Canaan. And his son died, and they went out together out of the in the land of Canaan, went as far as Haran, that's the name of the city. The days of Terah, 205 Genesis to verse 30, 31. Abraham's wife and Sarah, Abraham's wife and Sarah, the daughter of Abraham, Sarah was barren, she had no son. And she was Sarah was barren, she had no son. So the Lord calls to Abraham, leave your country, leave your altar, leave your father's house. Go to a land that I will show you. Take off my faith, and I will make you a great nation. I will bless you, make your name great. You will be a blessing. And those who will be blessed to see that finally realize the purpose of Jesus Christ. So Abram went forth, 75 years old, and left the land. He took Sarah with him. He asked him, second, and the Lord appeared to Abram again 2 times in the first chapter, 6 verses, now 7 verses. The Lord appeared to Abram again. To your descendants I will give this land. So he built there an altar to the Lord. In the Bible, and how God spoke to him. I don't know that for a fact. I don't know how else to speak to him. Built an altar, and they called upon the name of the Lord. Those who all worshipers, they built an altar, sacrifices, all upon the name of the Lord. Now, when we got into the land that showed him, there was a famine in the land. So, often, as human beings, when problems arise, rather than seek God, we say, God, how can I fix this problem? And try to do it on your own. Abraham, in verse 10 12, went down to Egypt and sojourned there. Well, there was a famine. It came about when they came near to Egypt, and he said to Sarah, see now, I know that you are a beautiful woman. She was talking about this. I know you're a beautiful woman. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife. They'll kill me and let you live. Please say that you're my sister. So that it will go well with me. Go into this harem, Pharaoh, he will take you. And verse 16 says, Pharaoh's officials saw her and praised her to Pharaoh. The woman was taken into Pharaoh's house, and Abraham was treated well for verse 17. But the Lord struck Pharaoh because of Sarah. Pharaoh called Abraham, what is this you have done? Done. Why did you not tell me that she was your wife? Why did you say she's your sister? And so he returned Sarah, let her go, and he commanded his men to take him away. He sent Abraham off, and they went away. So it's Abraham's first experience that we know about with God in his disobedience. Verse 13, chapter 13, verse 1 and 2. Abraham went up from Egypt to the Negev with his wife, Now Abraham was very rich in livestock and silver and gold, and he journeyed to Bethel. His tent had been in the beginning. He placed an altar there. Abraham called upon the name of the Lord. You see that all the way through this chapter. And he hadn't yet separated from his nephew, Lot. God said, leave her, leave your relatives, leave the land. He hadn't separated from Lot. The land was too small for them, so they separated. Lot went one way, Abraham went the other. Abraham went to Hebron. He built an altar and called upon the name of the Lord. He does this. So, we're going to skip verse chapter 14. Go to verse 15. After these things, period of life in Abraham's life, the Lord came to Abraham in a vision and said, don't fear, Abram. I am your shield and your reward is very great. I am your shield and I am your very great reward. Remember? So Abram says, oh Lord, what will you give me since I'm an heir in my house and Eliezer of Damascus? He's not even close. He's just an heir in my house like a servant. And Abraham said, since you've given me no offspring, one born in my house is my heir. And the word of the Lord came to him. God made himself clear. This man will not be your heir, but one will come forth from your own body. He will be your heir. He took him outside and said, look at the stars. Can you count them? No, I can't count them. Your descendants will be as the stars of heaven. Basically a paraphrase. And he said, Lord, how do I know that this is going to happen? He said, bring me a 3-year-old heifer, and they made a covenant. The covenant was going to divide the animals, and both parties walked through it. But this covenant, only God walked through it. God was saying, I'm taking responsibility for this covenant. You have no part in it except to obey it. I'm taking full responsibility for this covenant. And God walked through it, and Abraham told by God, know that your descendants will be strangers in the land and of Egypt, and I will judge that nation, and you'll come out with many possessions. And that's exactly what happened. Verse 18, on that day, the Lord said, to your descendants, I'll give you this land from the river of Egypt to the river of the Euphrates. Maybe from the Nile to the river of the Euphrates. That covers a lot of territory, much more than Israel has today. So, Sarah is barren. Chapter 16, the 3rd verse. Abraham bore him no children. Sarah bore Abraham no children. So she gets a brainstorm. She says, Abraham, we've had Hagar here as a maidservant for many, many years. She's a nice single lady, no one is touched her. Why don't you sleep with Hagar, and she'll have a son, and it will be as if I'm giving you a son. It's usually good to listen to your wife. This wasn't a good time. Just ask Adam when he listened to his wife. Abraham listened to his wife Sarah, verse 2. And he lived 10 years in the land of Egypt. Hagar conceived, and when she became pregnant and had a boy, Sarah Abraham. Observation, having entered the house, picking up 2 women. And Hagar feared Sarah. She ran from Sarah. God took care of Hagar. God said, go back. To mission. Observe. God took care of Sarah and God took care of Hagar when she was a baby. God cared about these women. He cared very much about them. He didn't want them to be abandoned. And this was by Abraham. Didn't want to kick them out. Verse chapter 17. Hurried through. Last week I went to my son-in-law's church in South Dakota. His message was 115 years. Not going to make it. 17, Abraham was 99 years old. He's 99 years old. God says in chapter 17, I am God Almighty. Walk before me and be blameless. I will establish my covenant with you. I will multiply you exceedingly. Abraham fell on his face and said, as for me, falling his face basically is God's promise. My covenant with you is going to be the father of a multitude. No longer remain the Abraham that Abraham has made you the father of a multitude. I will make you exceedingly great. I will establish my covenant. I will give to your descendants. God said to Abraham, you shall keep my covenant. Over and over, I'm going to give this land to you. I'm going to give you a sign. I'm going to give you a sign that will identify you as my people, you and your people. I'm going to give you a sign of certainty. What is this? And he said, that's what's going to happen, and you're going to listen to it, you're going to obey it. And Abraham fell, and he went on to say, as for Sarah, your wife, her name is no longer going to be Sarah. Sarai shall be Sarah. Sarah means princess. That's how God saw Sarah. Abraham didn't see her that way. He was willing to trade her off and give her away to Pharaoh. I'm going to bless her, and you're going to have a son by her. And Abraham fell on his face and laughed. How can a child be born to a man who's 100? His wife is 90. This is Abraham's statement. Oh, that Ishmael might live before you. What did Abraham say? I did my best with Hagar, and we got Ishmael, and Ishmael was the son. And who gets credit for Abraham's descendants if God works through Ishmael? Abraham, not God. Credit wouldn't go to God at all. Oh, that Ishmael might live before you. That's an ultimate expression of flesh in the life of God. Someone saying the same song, I'll do it my way. That is what Abraham said here. I'll do it my way. And God said, I don't think so. No, but Sarah, your wife, will bear a son. Very specific. You will call his name Isaac. And I'm establishing an everlasting covenant with you. And often the scriptures repeat themselves in different ways, in different expressions. And in chapter 18, Abraham is sitting outside his tent, and 3 men appear to him. And the chapter presents these 3 men as God. What can God do? These 3 men on the Abraham. One God. What's Sarah? What about Trinity? Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Genesis. These 3 men appear to Abraham as God had before. And he said, where is Sarah your wife? That was in the tent. I will return to you this time next year. Very specific. And your wife will have a son. And Sarah was Sarah laughed. Abraham and Sarah were advanced in age, well past childbirth there. And Sarah laughed, after I become old, and I have pleasure in my Lord being old. And the 3 men asked Sarah, why did you laugh? She said, shall I bear a child when I am old? And the anything to Jump ahead to the life of a virgin in Galilee named Mary. And she's told she's going to have a son. And Mary says, how is this possible? Anything impossible for him. And what we're seeing here in Genesis is a picture of what happens to in the thousands of years before it happened. And Abraham became great. And several in chapter 19, Abraham and Lot separate. And Abraham sojourned in the land of Negev, the south part of Israel. And Abraham said to Sarah, remember, when Sarah was 50 with Pharaoh, there's a king named Abimelech. Abraham said to Sarah, say you're my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. You see, prophet thinking, again? He's going to be kidding. He's doing this again? Maybe he doesn't want to do one as many. He wants to do it one and only. She doesn't want to share with her husband. And she doesn't want to be shared with other men. What is God doing? And once again, God intervened in Sarah's behalf. Abraham went right there and said, I'll take care of Sarah. He's a princess in my sight. And he appeared to this king Abimelech and said to Abimelech, if you touch that woman, you're a dead man. No mistake in that message. That's pretty clear. You are a dead man because you've taken another man's wife. And Abimelech pleads on his behalf and says, Lord, will you slay a nation even though blameless? He said, she's my sister. And God says, I know in the integrity of your heart, you took her, and I kept you from fornication. I kept you from violating. I kept you from abusing her. I kept you from sinning against her. Now, therefore, restore this man's life. He is a prophet. Have you ever put a prophet or a man of God on a pedestal and thinking they're above rebuke? Don't do that. There is no man, prophet, man of God, clergy, priest, pastor. There is no man, however good you think he is, that at some point will disappoint. They're human. And Abraham was a prophet. He prayed for Abimelech. His prayers were answered. But I don't think he was elevated and exalted too much in the eyes of some. Someone said if you want to see that a person is really like, just ask their spouse. They'll tell you what they're like. And God protected Abimelech from sinning. He protected Sarah from being violated. And for maybe the third or fourth time in these few chapters, the prophet of God, the man of God, the man of faith, was a great disappointment to somebody. So just keep in your life. At some point, potentially, our response as believers is to forgive God and to say, we're all human, we all fail, God forgives us, so do I. And they left Abimelech, they went on their way. This has only been a few months, and God had made it very clear to Abraham that Sarah is going to bear a child, and you're going to be the father, and you'll never again go into a man's territory. Who wasn't a great prophet? Chapter 21, beginning of reading. The Lord took note of Sarah as he had said, and did for Sarah as he had promised. Sarah gets up one morning. Abraham looks at Sarah and says, "What's the breakfast?" Nothing. He says, "Why not?" He says, "I got a headache and my stomach's upset and couldn't cook the food." He says, "I'll take a couple olive seeds and drink some goat milk and you'll be okay." He says, "Abraham, how did this happen?" He said, "You've got 1,000 goats and 1,000 sheep and you're 100 years old. You don't know how this happened? You big dummy? What do you mean, how did this happen?" He said, "Well, I mean, how is this possible? You are dead, and so am I. And we couldn't do this for 50 plus years of our marriage. How is this possible?" Sarah said, Sarah, that God dealt personally with Pharaoh and with Abimelech, and they were pagan kings. They were kings who probably had no knowledge of Jehovah God, yet God was still involved with their lives, and they were answered with God, and they would answer to God for their actions. If you get frustrated over the truth in our world, or the keys in our world, rule China or Russia or Korea, they can do nothing outside of God's permission. They think we depend on God, whether they believe in God or not. They are answerable to God for their actions, and He is in control. Whether their name is Putin, or Xi, or Russia, or China, Trump, or Biden, they are answerable to God. Don't get bent out and shake. God is doing, we don't maybe know in the nation. God will make things right. Relax, trust, God will make best. God will make best. So, God did as He has promised, and Sarah conceived in her old age, Abraham's old age, and a son was born to them at the appointed time of which God had spoken. I had a picture of it to show the father over his son, and how proud that father was, right and left. That's how Abraham, 100 years old, was built. That bell told me the story is over. We're done. Almost into the story. Almost into the story. We go about 13 years down the road. And Abraham is sleeping. And God comes to Abraham one more time. Chapter 22. God says to Abraham, "Take now your son, your only son, the son of Abraham, whom you love, Isaac." No mistake about what God said. "Take now your son, your only son, Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a sacrifice." He said to him, Revelation of the church, "What? What? As a man of about 113 years old, he is immediately obedient. He trusts God as his father. He doesn't question God as to why and what and who. One thing he doesn't do, he doesn't tell Sarah. I can hear Sarah say, over my dead body. What do you mean you're taking Isaac from out Moriah? He goes to Isaac, goes early in the morning, saddled the donkey, took two young men, plug his testimony of what was going to happen, and Isaac, his son. And I just, at 14 years old, a young man is beginning to think, I'm not going to earth at all, and I can be done with it. I'm given a place, I make my own decisions, and I can rebel, and I can stand up against my dad. I'll show my dad who's best. Go to Moriah with my dad. I get to worship with my dad. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I'm so excited to go to Moriah. So they take out, and I would say without telling Sarah, on the third day, Abraham raised his eyes to a distance and sees the place. And he starts going, and the son says, Dad, here's the fire. And here's the wood, but where is the land? With him said, God will provide the land. And the two of them walked on together. Twice in this passage, it says the two of them walked on together. They were in agreement, they were in fellowship, they were communicating clearly, they were helping each other. Abraham was Abraham took the wood, laid it with his son, and Isaac actually carried the wood on the way to the altar. Out of the land, they came to the place in which God had built him, and Abraham built an altar, arranged the wood, bound his son Isaac, and laid him on the altar. His son atop the altar, and Abraham stretched out his hand and took the knife. It looked something like this. This is Isaac on the altar, and Abraham's got the knife. We don't know where Isaac was in the first place. Isaac may have said at this time, we're going to help. We're going to help. And as Abraham stretched out his hand, an angel of the Lord called to him from heaven, Abraham, Abraham. Do not stretch out your hand against the land. Do nothing to him. And now I know that you fear God, since you have not held your son, only son, from me. Abraham raised his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him there was a ram caught in the thicket by the horn. Abraham went and took the ram, offered him as a burnt offering in the place of his son. And we have that picture in Genesis 22, substitutionary sacrifice. The ram in place of the son. Just several thousand years to the New Testament. Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. If it be possible, let this cup pass from you. He who knew no sin became sin for us. He was sacrificed. He was sacrificed as our on our behalf, and Jesus offers us as human beings a complete complete forgiveness, standing in God's kingdom as children because of what Jesus Christ did in the cross. And Jesus Christ, the Lamb of God, slain before the foundation of the world. God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. The only way mankind would be saved from the mess that they were in is that God did it, and man could not take it. Abraham could not take it. Abraham finally learned to listen to God, to obey God, to worship God, and to trust God. Those are the things that Isaac learned to do. Abraham listened to God. Abraham obeyed God. Abraham worshiped and trusted. Didn't run as a young man. Even as a 99-year-old. Things still you ever come to your place in your life as a human being where you say, I want God's love. I want God's blessing. I don't deserve it. God knows it. And He did this in person of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ became your substitute, offered Himself as a Savior. He paid the price because you couldn't pay it if you had to. He paid the debt. The debt was too big, you couldn't pay it. And it offers you a gift of salvation. I'm going to ask you right now, where are you in your journey of faith? How are you listening to God and hearing God? Maybe that's your starting point of your journey. If you learn to hear God, how are you obeying God? How are you worshiping God? Is it a matter of convenience or a matter of conviction? How are you trusting God? We all somewhere in that way. We all make mistakes along the way. Abraham was a prophet as a man of God. Wasn't always a good example. Neither would you, did you? And God's a God of second chances, third chance, fourth chance. Wherever you are in your journey, learn to say, God will work. God will work. God's work is never ending. Thank you. My brothers and sisters, in this journey of knowing you together, Lord, teach us to listen to your Bible and worship your Bible. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Stand with us.